Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel. This is Blood Phantom 81. So in this video, I want to talk about the stock market, obviously, or as my Australian friends like to call it, the stock market. So in this video, I'm going to give my predictions as usual. I usually don't like to go too long without making one of these. So I think it's been almost like 2 weeks since my last one. I also want to do a real quick announcement. So because I'm starting to get a little bit busier and it's possible these recaps don't come as often and just in general, obviously in video format, there's only so much urgency that I can put out content. I'm actually going to experiment with a Patreon. So this is my Patreon. This is an example of a post that I made. So I've always kind of wanted to have a blog, especially because blog post takes like 15 minutes. I figured why not just put it on the platform that already supports this type of content, such as writing and images and videos and that kind of thing. So yeah, this is a Patreon that I made. I prefer this than making like my own website at this point. Maybe I make my own website at another point that's stock market related. But for now, this is my way of putting content out to the world at a very quick pace. So I'm going to post basically blog posts every week. More than likely, it'll be like 2 times a week and just getting my thoughts out there. It's basically, I have one tier, which is I'm either buying, I'm watching, or I'm selling. So, for example, on August 5th, which was yesterday, I made a post which is talking about Federal Realty Investment Trust, which is a REIT. It's actually the only Dividend King REIT. I talk about their superior business plan, their diversified portfolio, how high quality their portfolio is, which is everything you care about when you're investing in REITs, and a summary. As long as FRT is increasing their yield, I'm a buyer, and obviously some images here that I've taken from their investor relations page. So it's basically going to be a $1 tier for now, and I'm probably going to have more tiers in the future. But I just want to go ahead and try that out. Think about it as like, yes, um, you're basically paying for some fresh ideas that come off very quickly, and these are pretty solid investment ideas in my opinion. I'm also going to post like more technical analysis blurbs here. So think about it as getting value from that point of view, but also this is your way to support the channel if you want. It's really only $1 a week. I'm not even trying to like advertise it that much. It's just if you care about this kind of thing, go right ahead. Cool. So let's go ahead and talk about the markets. And so I actually want to bring up my 2020 video where I basically made a comparison between today and the year 2000, which was the year of a bubble. So I compared both of the time periods. I talked about how the S&P 500 was sort of building up more demand. As you guys can see, the dips are being bought quicker as we start to hit this resistance area, and this is a bullish sign in my opinion. And so this is kind of where we left off. I was always talking about like a follow through move that we would have in the S&P 500, and I even mentioned that I'm bullish 1 to 3 weeks. And this video was out, July 17th. So we're actually a little bit past this mark. But obviously, time is more difficult than timing price, and timing price is even more difficult. But anyway, so let's talk about what the S&P 500 looks like. All right, so this is the S&P 500 today, and if you guys remember, this was the exact resistance area that I had marked. So one thing is, I will admit that in my last video, I did talk about some level of concern, the fact that we went below it for a little bit, but resistance areas can sort of be seen as a range rather than the exact price point. So in fact, we ended up using this resistance area as support on the retest, and now we're heading higher. And one thing I also want to note is that on a smaller term time frame, this actually has another really bullish look. And what do I mean by that exactly? So you guys know that stocks can only move in three ways, either up, down, or consolidation, meaning sideways or down. In this particular case, the trend of the S&P 500 has been something like really strong move. In this case, we had a gap up open and then consolidation sideways, gap up open, which I will go ahead and mark, and then a consolidation sideways, and then another up move. And in this case, this entire move is something of a sideways consolidation, and I have every reason to think that this is just another consolidation for another move higher. So given all of this, it's important now to zoom out and think about what do I think about the markets in the bigger picture. So I want to take this time to also clarify that like I've always talked about, how much I'm cash, how much I'm not cash, whatever, right? But also that's also my investments. So like never try to base your investments on mine. So when I say I'm 30% in stocks, that's probably a lot different to your setup. With that being said, I think I'm gonna go ahead and make kind of like a crazy prediction here, potentially putting my reputation on the line, but that's totally fine. I've done that before. My prediction here is that the market will struggle quite soon. And I kind of want to reference my 2020 video just to show that I thought that we would sort of stall out at or near all-time highs for the S&P 500. And this is sort of like my gut feeling, like just as my instinct, whatever you want to call it, of looking at charts for a while. I think the market will struggle at or near all-time highs for the S&P 500. And of course, I say that meaning I think we might get some kind of pop here, meaning to the upside, but it might be sort of the last pop that the market has. And that's kind of like a crazy prediction. Let's go ahead and talk about why I think that, first of all, and then we can talk about what I'm going to do with my account as a result of that. Okay, so generally speaking, this was a very sharp reversal. There's no other way around it. I mean, obviously it was a sharp drop, but it was nearly just as sharp as a recovery. And considering the last time we had some kind of consolidation was here, back in June actually, where it looked like the market stalled out for a little bit, and then we continued to the upside. I think the market will sort of get tired pretty soon. And when you look at the last V reversal, we take a look at this time period, for example, we stalled at or near all-time highs. And in fact, the points at which I started to get more cautious for the S&P 500 was actually around this range. I did make a video around here. I was talking about selling, and then I reloaded. I think that was back in that was back in May. And yeah, I think if you sort of look at what happens after these sharp recoveries, if you have a recovery that doesn't consolidate that much, I think the all-time high or near it level would be a good place to take a break. And this kind of seems like a candidate for that. And so, yeah, like I said, this is kind of a crazy out there prediction. And I guess like as a result of that, I am considering selling, taking more profits here. But like I said, me taking profits shouldn't mean that anyone else should be taking profits or anything like that. You're subscribed to this channel to watch someone like grow their account, right? This isn't there shouldn't be anything more than that. And kind of where I want to wrap up the video is talking about this idea, which I will make another video on, but just the idea of trend following, basically. So I sometimes preach it, yet I can't help but scratching the itch of trying to time the market. Like, I don't know if it's some like weird flaw that I'll have to figure out at some point, but like, going off the moving averages we've been talking about, which is the 200 and 100 on the 1 hour time frame for QQQ, like the trend is still up, and literally every time, I mean, these moving averages have been holding a support basically, and I've always been saying once they break, I think we're going to see the start of something longer, like some kind of multi-week consolidation. So given that information, there should be really no reason why I'm taking any profits whatsoever if I think this is going to be a good enough signal, right? But I still kind of, I don't know. I think I can't find that balance, I think. So yeah, that's basically just me being open and honest. And actually, one thing I talked about was when I started to get more worried. In my video 2 weeks ago, my most recent technical analysis video, I talked about how the market was here, right? And it was basically like make or break. I think if the market had gapped down Monday, if the market had gapped down, I think that would have been the start of something larger. But I also talked about how if we had a gap up the next day, that would have had really good implications for the market going forward. And that's exactly what we did. We did have a gap up. And I wasn't really sure what side of the bet to be on. So I kind of just like left my positions around autopilot. So that continues to be the story. And yeah, I still can't help but try to time the market. It is what it is. Like I said, I won't really fully sell everything until this sort of breaks on QQQ. Until then, we're just chilling and enjoying the ride and taking profits here and there. I think it's been a really good run so far, so I'm pretty happy with what I've made so far since 2020 started. So yeah, that's going to wrap up this video. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.